Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. It's pretty hard nowadays, it's pretty hard not to get black-pilled. I see the black pill everywhere I go. Not only do I feel it creeping up every now and then, internally in my own personal experience, but I see it all online. I see many, or at least some of you, who have already fully taken the black pill, but I choose to have a more positive outlook. I choose to believe in one specific concept, the cultural pendulum. It takes some time. You need to have patience. You need to be able to wait and hope that things are going to get better with time, that eventually it's going to start swinging the other way. Well, folks, I think it's happening. It's the same thing that we've been covering. We've been covering it through little anecdotal examples, more broad viewing statistics, of course, polling data. Gen Z is starting to revolt. The crazy wokeness in your face every single day. Going to school and you have an entire month devoted to freaking pride. You're a young student in class trying to focus on history, math, sciences, literature, whatever it is. But no, of course not. Everything comes with a side order of adult sexual topics. The more crazy it gets, the more extreme and radical and fringe it gets, well, the more you're going to see a pushback. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Not only are we seeing it in the data as an overall trend, but also in little anecdotal examples, as I mentioned earlier. I got another one for you today. Students clearly are starting to get fed up with the woke indoctrination, and so we're seeing this beautiful trend start to rise of students recording their encounters with teachers in an effort to combat the woke crap. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got another absolutely out of his mind teacher today. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this comes all the way from the land of Scotland. If we know one thing about wokeness, it's that it's a virus. A woke virus. And what do viruses do? Well, they spread. And the woke mind virus has spread all the way to Scotland.
You're entitled to your opinion.
If I am, then why would you kick me out of class? It's not very inclusive of
Can I finish my sentence, please? Not very inclusive. No, I'm sorry, what you were saying was not very inclusive. And this is an inclusive school.
Yeah, how was what I was saying?
Because I was saying that what's wrong with the website is that there are more than one gender in this country.
That's
by law.
your opinion.
That is my opinion, and that is an opinion which is acceptable in the school. I'm afraid yours, which you're saying that there's no such thing as anyone other than male or female, is not inclusive.
Scientifically, there are just two genders. Depending on what
I get that. But
you
you're choosing to make an issue of this because I said, "Are you really going to hear?" That was your opportunity to keep quiet.
You made the issue with it on the website. You said, "Oh, this website doesn't have more than two
Murray,
genders."
you were clearly given an opportunity not to pursue it. You chose to do so.
Yeah, because I think it's
You
silly.
chose to do so. Yes, that's the key question. You chose to do so.
I think it's silly to have anything other than two genders. So
Okay.
Anything
could
else
you
is a
please
personal opinion.
keep that opinion to your own house? Thank you. Not in the
So
school.
you get to put your opinion out in class, and my
No,
opinion. Has to,
I am not.
My
putting
opinion has to stay
I am
inside
not
my house.
putting my opinion. I am not putting my opinion out. I am stating what is national school authority policy. Okay?
Well, it's not scientific whatsoever.
Not every policy is scientific, not every policy is scientific, Murray.
And you can't come out here and say that I'm not being inclusive when someone says
I
something
didn't
you
say,
disagree with. So
I said what you were saying was not being
you
inclusive.
kick me out of class. If you want to have a discussion about it, we could have had a discussion. You don't have to kick me out of class.
I'm sorry,
Waste 30 minutes of my time, where I could have been down revising, doing something else. Instead, I state something I believe in. You kick me out of class for 30 minutes. And I'm waiting on the
Take
corridor.
this somewhere else, Murray. You can make an official complaint.
I'm not
Please
going to
do.
make an official complaint.
Why not?
I just think it's.
I know what you think, and I know what the authority thinks. I know what the authority's point of view
Well, I know
is.
what science
Very clear that we make no discrimination on the grounds of various.
I wasn't making discrimination. I'm simply saying there are two genders, male and female.
Yeah.
Anything else is a personal identification.
I'm sorry, but you chose to make an issue of making a point which is contrary to policy.
I literally cannot imagine this kind of experience growing up. I grew up in the 90s, but most of my formative years going into adulthood were in the early to mid 2000s. It was truly a different time. It really wasn't that long ago, but it was a different time. We went to school and focused on, it's crazy to say it, academic topics. I cannot imagine what kids are going through these days, and I know who I was going to school. I was quite rebellious, especially intellectually rebellious, and so I could relate with these students that are expressing this frustration and taking actions like filming their encounters with teachers, especially these kinds of teachers. This is craziness. I mean, this is absolute batshit out of your mind, wacko nonsense. There's no other way to say it. What in the woke world is going on? Say the word or else. Could you imagine going to school? The whole point of school is to be exposed to new ideas, to discuss and debate ideas, especially when it comes to the world of ethics and sensitive cultural issues. Yet you have these teachers on their high horse trying to flex their authority, saying stuff like this.
That is my opinion, and that is an opinion which is acceptable.
This concept of acceptable thoughts, acceptable opinions, that right there represents the literal antithesis of what going to school is supposed to be about. That is sheer woke insanity. That is cultist type language and behavior, and of course mixed in with a heavy dose of authoritarianism. There is only one accepted opinion. It is a mandated opinion. You will say it or else. It's the opposite of free speech and an open society. It's coercive and despicable. And the unfortunate reality is that it's becoming commonplace. We covered recently, of course, another audio recording from a classroom in Canada where a teacher literally told a Muslim student that he not just has to peacefully live among people that he disagrees with, particularly people of the LGBT community, but that he must actively endorse and celebrate their lifestyle and decisions, or else he's not Canadian and shouldn't be allowed to live in Canada, should not be in the country unless he does so.
If you want to be respected for who you are, if you don't want to suffer prejudice for your religion, your color of skin, your whatever, then you better give it back to people who are different from you. That's how it works. It's an exchange. And it isn't like that in all countries. As I told you, in Uganda, literally, if they think you're gay, they will execute you. If you believe that kind of thing, then you don't belong here. Because that is not what Canada believes.
That is completely absurd. You know, by that logic, it should apply to pretty much anything. Well, what about atheists who don't want to celebrate other religions? Should they be shunned, exiled from society? What about the tolerant left that can't seem to tolerate traditional values or conservative beliefs? Should they be exiled from society? No, of course not. It only swings one way. If you disagree with the leftist doctrine, that is the only time where people will advocate for the total disavowal, and in this case, exile, of whoever represents the dissenting belief. It's left-wing compassionate narcissism, left-wing supposedly compassionate fascism. It's absolute craziness, but honestly, going back to what I was saying during the intro, it kind of makes our life easy. In what's perceived as the culture war, we actually don't really need to do much. Leftoids are metaphorically shooting themselves in the foot. At least that's what it feels like, and that's what the data represents. All of this wacko craziness can only logically lead to one specific conclusion, or actually maybe two: either the total destruction of society and the collapse of the West, or of course a counteracting cultural force, which is kind of the side that I'm representing, or the side that I'm leaning towards, the cultural pendulum eventually swinging in the other direction. And I think that's probably where we're headed. You know, millennials are lost. The millennial generation, there's no getting them back. Gen Z, kind of lost, but I have a little bit of faith that things might start shifting. The next generation, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a full-on cultural revolt. These ideas are unpopular, they're unsustainable, they're crazy, they're divisive, they're authoritarian, they're dangerous in many cases, destructive, and it's like exposure therapy in a way, but, well, not exactly the same, but you get what I mean. The more people are exposed to it, well, I think things are kind of gonna work themselves out. We've seen so many examples. Students are starting to revolt. They're clearly sick of it. Whether it's the kids who chanted "my pronouns" or USA, or whether it's situations like this where students are recording their lunatic teachers or school staff, clearly something's going on. I'm here for it, and I hope that it keeps happening. Not too many young people watch this YouTube channel. Actually, there's like almost none. Way less than 10%, I think less than 5%. But if you're listening and there's some wacko woke nonsense going on around you, well then simply record it, because the world should see just how deep this idea of the woke mind virus really goes. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.